All right, folks, welcome to Campaign for America. Oh, episode 12. I don't know how I got episode 24 in there. It should not have been 24, it should have been 12. Apologies about that on the loop animation. Well, all right, so we're going to begin the countdown timer, and then we will begin right after that. At least I got your name right, Pam. The views expressed on this show are expressly the views of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views, beliefs, or opinions of News for Us World, its hosts, broadcasters, or affiliates. Remember, folks, always use your own discernment when viewing. We encourage our viewers to think for themselves. Welcome, everybody, to Campaign for America, episode 12. I'm sorry. I don't know why I got that episode number all screwed up today. Episode 12. We are with Dennis Andrew Ball and Pam Suleman. Here with us, who is campaign manager for Florida, I believe. And why don't you guys go ahead and get started? We're going to be talking about corruption and all the bad things going on in the foster care system in relation to the CBS family court corruption.
Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate this opportunity to introduce Pam Suleman to the Campaign for America. Pam is our Florida State campaign manager. She, as far as I'm concerned, a shining star in the political world. She has accomplished more in a year and a half than most people do in a lifetime with regard to people, the politics of the state of Florida. And I'm very proud of her. When I was there in Tallahassee for a rally regarding this subject of parental rights and foster care. And she actually made her way into the Capitol in Tallahassee. We were across the street. She went into the Capitol, gave the governor's office my card and other literature from the campaign, told to the secretary to tell Governor Ron DeSantis, that Dennis Andrew Ball is running for president of the United States. And for that, I couldn't have asked for a better introduction with respect to the issues at hand. As both of you probably know by now, I have traveled the country at the capitals, different ones. I've covered probably half the country. I have set up rallies inside the capitals. With regard to my books, The Ball Chronicles, Pam has a complete set of my work. And right now there are 38 titles on Amazon.com, of which 3 more are coming the first week in January. I've been working very diligently on that, plus making time to prepare to leave Illinois for Florida. And we intend to have 5 campaign rallies at the airports, motivating the public to understand there is something here that needs to be done for them, and they need to participate in the solutions and in the future of their children and generations to come. Welcome everybody to Pam Suleman. What say you, Pam?
Go ahead and unmute yourself, Pam. Unmute yourself.
Hi, all right. Can you hear me?
Yes, there you are.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, all right. Sorry, I thought y'all had to unmute me. So how's everybody today?
We're
Good,
good,
good.
dear. Did you get a chance to listen to my introduction for you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And right. So what we're wanting to talk about is um the state of affairs there in Florida as it relates to um your story, which I've listened to some of it. And I know it would take a lot more time to get into it, but I know that you had your parental rights stolen from you by the court system. That seems to be pretty common with respect to many of the families who have been basically destroyed, divided, separated, whatever, because of this and the emotional trauma and the harm that it has done to so many. And I know it's certainly hurt you personally, and I pray for you a lot, to be candid with you, and many others too who have had this experience in American society. It's not acceptable, as we both know, and it's got to change. And that's why I'm here, and I know you are too. Um, is there anything you want to talk about with respect to the things that you want to see happen? I know you've had time to think about this. I know you've had time to create a fence that has different images on it. I'm very proud of how you have handled yourself with me and the campaign, the signs and information that I have been able to provide and will continue to provide, incidentally, from bumper stickers and the marketing of the presidency and moving it forward. Um, is there something you want to see change? What would that be?
The system.
Okay, good.
I don't think
That's
that, I don't understand. I don't think that they should be able to take, control of families. Families are families. You know what I mean? The government should not be able to control family. I mean, and no matter what, they're dividing the family, because if they take the children and they place them with family, then they make up lies to those, to the family about the family.
yes.
And I mean,
Why do
I
you
was
think
supposed to be able to see girls, and it's just
that's
the
happening?
systems. The government should not be involved in money
Exactly.
trafficking.
Right. What do you think the motivation has been or still is to do this kind of abnormal objective behavior on families? What is causing this? Nancy Schaefer talks about it.
Government.
Nancy Schaefer did 3 years worth of research on this topic. And I don't want to answer for you, but I want to hear what you think is causing this government to be so intrusive and aggressive with the family unit in this country.
Right. It's all about money. It's all about government control. It's all about because they don't want unity, basically, and you go after the strongest unity, which is family. They figure they can define the world, and they're not going to be able to, because basically really all they're doing is making families that are suffering grow their own family to fight for families, which is actually making it strong. The government's actually going to be effed in the long run, because they don't realize what they're doing, and we do now, and you know what I mean? It's
Yes. I think that this is evil, what their motivation is. Not only is it money, power, and control, but there is something even more. I think it's evil that is motivating these people. Um, it's like a disease. The Bible talks about the love of money being the root of evil. The love of money, not that money is a problem, but the love of it has caused so many harmful behaviors to infect and destroy our family structure. And that's what I'm about. That's why I write the books that I write. And I talk about both economics as well as spiritual aspects of life that need to be restored. One of the things at our rallies we're going to have is signs that say "Restore America." And it will provide support for people to learn about this campaign. And as I have said before, and I will say again, my books, my work, I believe is very telling. I know nobody out here doing it the way I am. Also, Pam, you need to know this. And Chris, if you're listening, the United Nations right now is reading my books. I have the emails that I sent to them as well. I'm asking for an invitation to New York to address the General Assembly. There are 193 member nations of the General Assembly. I want to put a copy of the Ball Doctrine in every one of those ambassadors' hands. Praise God. And the lady who is helping me at the United Nations, she agrees with me that there needs to be a new path, praise God, and that this will provide the opportunity for every nation to build a middle class for the purpose of their children and generations to come, and by God, to hold accountable those who are in authority over them, the family. Because as we both know, the family is the basic unit of society. How the family goes the culture, goes the country. In America right now, the problem we have is prisons, drugs, and no living wage jobs. And living wage to me is $25, $35, $45, $55 an hour, people. That's skilled labor education. That's manufacturing jobs. And it also has to do with providing oneself a comfortable living as well as the retirement.
Right.
You cannot raise a family on minimum wage. What say you, Pam?
No, there's no way. Especially
Exactly.
nowadays, especially the way that the government's trying to tear families apart. You know, what I mean, even when you know, what they're trying to do is, even when they take your children, they're trying to say, oh, it was the mother or it was the father. If you want your kids back, you have to get away from your husband. So they're tearing away the loving, families that way too, by tearing,
I agree. I have 3 daughters I have not seen in years.
Either
They
way.
use child support as a lever to separate me from them. And when I entered into marriage, I didn't enter into it with the attitude of getting divorced. But again, I'm going to say this: the social issues that are hurting our families too is cooperation or lack of, with regard to the parents and the partners in the marriage.
Right.
Like we've said, you cannot raise a family on minimum wage. And this goes for the young people. This goes for the ones in their 20s and the 30s. Also, anyone in their teens who is contemplating marriage. You must think in terms of cooperation and support for that relationship to last. It's what I find interesting is that prior to World War II, families stayed together. After World War II, the disintegration of the family began. And now it's on steroids. Children are still being hurt. Divorces are still happening. And there's reasons for those divorces. A lot of it has to do with attitudes on the part of the parents to each other.
There's
And
no
I
family
also
moral.
say that again, please.
No family morals anymore. That's part of the problem.
That's
As
part of
well.
the problem as well. And I, like in my case, I did not get married to get divorced. Okay. I got divorced because my former partner, a wife, did not think it important enough to participate in proceeding to do the things that I, as her husband, needed to do and have her do them with me.
Okay.
Right there was the breakdown. And when those kinds of problems occur, it's very hard to be able to maintain a relationship. And I blame a lot of this on families that raise children for the children to expect and understand what their part is in life in order to be successful, not only in a job situation, but also in a marriage. And so what I'm going to say is this too. Now, I've done some work recently in North Carolina with respect to termination of parental rights. There is a case here where a man paid child support. His rights were terminated, and so was his wife's rights terminated. And as a consequence, he still paid child support even after his rights are terminated. And he's paying it not to her, he's paying it to the state. Not only is he paying it to the state, he's paying interest on the child support debt that he accrued from the time that the order was issued by the court. Now, the legalities of those orders is also of a question. And I think that there is a problem here with how these orders are being used to embezzle money. And there's some other legal terms here that I can't readily remember. But
well, that's like I was telling you, my husband is paying child support for his son, and they have joint custody, and she gets like child support, from him. Then she gets Section 8 and everything else. All of her bills and everything like that are paid. She gets food stamps, she gets everything. And then when we have him, you know what I mean, we pay cash for everything. And he still is paying child support. They're saying that he's behind in his child support, and they're taking extra money out each month for back support, but they're also still putting it against his credit. It's like, what the hell are you doing to these people? You know what I mean? And then they try to suspend these people's license that aren't paying child support.
right.
And how are you're wanting money, you're wanting these people to work, but you're suspending their license. How are they supposed to,
get to work? I agree.
Right.
Yes, and
supposedly child support that most of these parents are taking care of their,
yes, I do hear you very much. And as I have continued to do some work in this area, it appears that the parents are being trafficked also, besides the children who are being separated from their parents.
right?
In other words, what we've got here is a cabal of very, as far as I'm concerned, very bad behavior. And there's some criminal legal terms here, and I'm trying to remember them. But as it relates to
RICO, racketeering, maybe something along those lines.
yes, of course. But there's even it's on the tip of my tongue. I apologize for not being able to recall what it is, but it's extortion. Yeah, extortion. That people are being
one of them,
extorted
definitely,
for
yeah.
money.
Absolutely, they are. Yep.
Yeah. And they are being criminalized for being parents. This is so antithetical to the Constitution and everything associated with it. That's why I say, regardless of the Constitution, they totally ignore it and do any damn thing they want.
Oh yeah, they totally ignore it. They do, absolutely, 100% they ignore it.
Now I want to say this is why George Mason and Patrick Henry would not ratify the Constitution. They would not sign off on it because they were afraid judges would hide behind the Constitution, make it very difficult for them to be removed, and they could go down this road and be little tyrants in their courthouse and courtrooms against the people. See, this is what happened in Europe during the Inquisitions, the Renaissance, the kings like King Charles, King George, the monarchy. Then you have the church. Now I'm talking Europe here. This is during, you know, the 1500s, the 1400s, the 1300s. The pilgrims came over here in 1600. Or was that right? 1620 was Plymouth colony. Yeah, something like that. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Okay, so Columbus sails in 1492, discovers the West Indies. Word goes back to Europe that there's a continent beyond in the western portion of the world. And so the pilgrims come in the Mayflower over here to settle and find a new way of life that would provide freedom, liberty, opportunity, and of course, prosperity. Okay. Well, guess who follows them? The British Crown later, and establishes the colonies. And therein lies, really, since that happened, many of our problems began as a society and a culture. So the government of, for, and by the people right now is kind of in trouble. Kind of in trouble?
That's why we
How
need a
much
third
trouble
party.
is it in, Pam?
The ANC Independent Party for the American people.
Only one part.
And it needs to be the people that are, you know, we need people like us out there running for stuff that in the AOA Independent Party, which is for we the people, not the government friggin' running everything, thinking they own us and killing us and destroying us. And
Right.
it needs to be for
Definitely.
American families and people.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's like these bastards work for us, yet they're acting like they own us, which is exactly the opposite of how they're supposed to be acting. They're supposed to be public servants. The state, we the people delegate the power to the states delegate it to the Fed. They do not work. We do not work for them. They work for us. They are supposed to be our representatives. And if they are not representing us properly, then we have the right to demand that they be swapped out of office or be replaced. You know, that's our right. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
And then they don't listen to us, and like DeSantis, they block us. So it takes me just to walk into Tallahassee government's office and tell them offhand, hey, you know, you got me blocked, so I guess I got to come in and make face to face with you. Fortunately, he wasn't there, you know, but.
Well, you're right, Pam, and I'm so proud of that moment when you went in there and told the secretary to tell DeSantis that Dennis Andrew Ball is running for president. Because I had not been to Florida as far as doing an event there in the Capitol, but I wanted to come to Florida to be there at the Capitol. And
when you get
the fact
going back after the beginning of the year, we're going back, because that's when the new governor, which is still DeSantis, is, and everything takes over. So we're going back.
Definitely, we're going back, and we will have the media in tow. And you know, the way I see this, you know, I mean, we need to get some murals. There'll be the permits and insurance for the rallies. We'd probably do some advertising. The way the staging would be set up would be, I look at it, you know, like having a blue carpet, either a navy blue or a royal blue carpet on the ground. It could even be on the concrete. Okay. Oh gosh, here we go. I'm talking the podium. Okay. The podium there with the microphone, speakers on the sides, chairs in the back, and then the murals. I have a 4 by 8 foot mural. We will with the eagle looking at the logo. I've got the American flag. It's 5 by 8. It was flown over the Capitol. I want to get a mural for the airplane, and maybe 2 of them. And put it in the background up where people can see all aboard. I've also got some banners, 2 of them on each side. Be Washington, myself, John F. Kennedy, and Lincoln. I've got to get Lincoln done. Okay. So that's how I see this. And then to have Restore America, a big sign that says Restore America, visible as well. On the podium, we could put that as well, and then have cards that we can distribute. And Stephen, this is how I see Vegas as well. Okay. So take notes. And have, cards like the platform is on your business card, Pam. It's on my business card, the platform of the party. Okay. So we could have the platform of the party on the back of the Restore America, say 5 by 4 or 3 by 5 card, okay, to distribute to these folks who come. So when they leave, they have something in their hand. And I'm sure some of them will hit the ground too, because they're all different. These people, they've all been conditioned. So to believe a certain way or think a certain way, have a certain prejudice, but they're coming out of curiosity, a lot of them. They want to know, who is this Dennis Andrew Ball? Who is Pam Suleman? Who are the American Party of America?
I do a lot
what are
of
they?
stuff for like
Say what?
Different stuff. I'll put like our car, and I'll put like the people that are doing the panhandling on the side of the streets and stuff. And I'll take a dollar bill and I'll wrap it around our cards, the business cards, and hand them. Doing that a lot lately too. Or I'll hand them cups with like coffee or tea bags or hot chocolate with it being cold, and our cards are in it and different things like that. So,
well, good. See, I respect that, a lot of you. You're very creative in your skill sets. And that's why it's exciting when I have you up there introducing the Campaign for America and the Ball for All and Ball Sanders 2024. And then I'm thinking, if Amber comes and is participating as well, she can communicate to the people because she's a good communicator. And like I said, and like with Chris has security man, I'm getting him a shirt that says security on it. He's got the cap, and that's important because we have to have a security presence at the rallies, and we continue to build it up. The way I see this, by the time I leave Florida, we will have a hell of a following. It'll be huge, and the media will be in tow because it'll be everywhere and it'll be all over the country. And then Texas and Houston, and then Vegas at McCarran Airport. And then we're going to go to Maricopa County, which is Phoenix, to the airport there. And then to San Diego, where I grew up. And this will take us out of the cold into the warm, so that by the spring, the cold areas of the country will be warmed up, so I can go up to Minnesota and Michigan and Wisconsin and Ohio, Pennsylvania, and all those places that I visited for 6 months in New England, because it's on. This is our time now. And I'm so blessed. So let me get back to North Carolina here. You know, it's such a tragedy, a travesty that you can do the things that the courts require of you and still be screwed over by them. And that's absolutely wrong to me. And
It is.
the thing that they don't want to talk about is the reasons why these conflicts continue. I want to talk about what they need to be done. We need living wage jobs, and we need families who are in support of each other. We need the marriage partners engaged in seeing that the family survives and thrives by creating the living wage jobs, which is a government job in and of itself, as well as allowing business to come in. Do you know how World War II was won? We outproduced the world. And we did it by having private business do government contracts for producing war materials.
Mm.
Now, if private business can be that successful, why in the hell are we in this position?
Right.
Can somebody tell me why we're in this position?
Because of a corrupt government.
I have a theory. I think we have a situation that what's known as a regulatory capture one, and we have a bunch of corporate and private interests that are on multiple boards through that regulatory capture. And therefore, yeah, so we have that dynamic going on, I think, is part of the problem. But yeah, and it goes back to absolute power corrupts absolutely, and there's a fine line between greed and prosperity.
Power trip. Government
Well, it's
people that are
absolutely, you know,
trip.
it doesn't matter if it's America or somebody other nation, okay? If your people are not prospering, they are declining.
Exactly.
Hello?
Mhm.
So therein lies the problem. That's why I wrote the Ball Doctrine. President Kennedy wanted every nation to create a middle class that will support their family, their children, and their future. That was what he was about. And his brother Robert signed on that. I'm not sure his other brother Ted signed on to that, but I know President Kennedy believed that. And he wrote Profiles of Courage to back that. And for that, that's why I'm here too, is because this needs to be not only written, it needs to be spoken. We are in a crisis, and this must be understood. What say you, Pam?
Yeah.
I agree as well.
Exactly.
Do you think we are doing the right things to correct these problems?
We're trying anyway.
Do you think this is how it's going to have to be in order to correct these problems?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think we're going to have to be the ones who step up and run for office and stuff to make these changes, because clearly the ones that are in power now aren't going to do it for us.
Exactly.
Do you think we need to be educated as to know what the hell to do
Absolutely.
once we are in the office of whatever it is we have won? See, I believe that living wage jobs needs to be at the top of the heap. And I believe skilled education is very much a part of this. Excuse me. I think you can just have so many doctors, so many lawyers, so many professional people. But for those who are the plumbers, the welders, the shipbuilders, the vehicle manufacturers, the chemical producers, all of the defense industries, all of these different programs.
Customer service jobs where you got to deal with people.
Those,
Karens and
you know, yes. Yes, yes, and yes, and these, I mean, I look at the truck drivers. What are they hauling? They're hauling goods and services. They're hauling in trailers. Somebody is manufacturing those trailers. They're pulling those trailers with cabs, with bobcats. Somebody
If
is
it
manufacturing those.
wasn't for these truck drivers, we wouldn't have food in the grocery stores. We wouldn't have gas. We wouldn't have nothing.
Someone has to build this stuff and maintain it. And the building of these products need to be made in America.
Yep.
I'm tired of made in China. I'm tired of made in Europe. I am tired of made in other nations, even Vietnam, believe it or not, who we lost 55,000 American soldiers during that conflict.
Well, it's like everything's made over there, but then they come over here and they get fucking everything given to them for, and we've got our American people and vets living on the fucking streets suffering while these people that are doing our jobs over in their country are coming over here taking our jobs in America along with it.
What do you think of that?
Set up and everything.
That's ridiculous. I mean, it's just like it's almost like a two-pronged attack on our freaking on our system of economics, our prosperity, and everything else. I mean, it's just like, come on. Obviously,
And
this is intentional.
look at it that way, you know what I mean? It's like, hello, people, hello. Not only are all of our jobs over there, they're coming over here as well. And we're giving them everything when they come over here.
And who's responsible for all of that shenanigans and all that dynamic going on? It's those in power that have abused their power, folks.
Yep.
To benefit themselves and their own private interests.
Exactly.
Right. America at one time was a very proud nation. Now it's in the dumps. The people have got to recognize why this has happened and what must be corrected. And let me say this, it's one thing to talk about this. It's another thing to do this. That's why I have written these books, to educate our people to know what the hell to do. And that means we have to become candidates, win elections, and change the system from within so that living wage jobs will have a chance to survive and thrive, come back into the United States, build our family structure, make it strong, and talk about relationships within the family structure and the responsibility of the people in it to maintain it right.
Yep. And instead of voting for who we think is the least of the, least of all evil, have somebody that we know is gonna, stand up, be loud, and fucking get done what's got to be done, instead of somebody in there, oh, that's the least of all that's the least of evil one, we'll go for that one. No, screw that shit. Stand the hell up, start speaking up, and fucking have a voice. People, stop being so pussyfied.
Right. Oh my God. People need to stop being freaking so apathetic and so scared,
French,
everybody wants to. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Saying, excuse my mouth, I'm a female and all, but it's just true. That's the only way we're going to get through to these people.
People need to stand up and start saying, no, enough.
Come on. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. And I'm of the opinion, this is why we're talking right now. We're a now group. We're not going to sit around and wait for nothing. We're making this happen because it's now.
People can either get on board or they can, or we can just be like, bye, see ya, because we're moving forward.
That's it.
Yeah. I know I'm tired. It's been 4 years since I've got to see my baby. You know what I mean? Taylor Ray Kramer, mommy loves you to death. I don't know what you're being told or what, but I'm here and I'm looking for you and I will find you. I don't care what, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I haven't seen her in 4 years. The system took her from me. You know what I mean? I'm happening. it's not right. And she was given to my sister. And given to my sister supposedly so that I wouldn't lose connection because I was too close to my oldest daughter. So they felt, I don't know, whatever the bullshit. But anyway, it's
That
just
sounds like
crazy.
bullshit.
It teared families apart like that. And now, my sister and I were close. I have nothing to do with my sister. She won't even talk to me. Or, my brother, I don't even talk to him. He sent me a thing for Christmas, and I sent him a thing saying, I love and miss you very much with, a sad face. I mean, it's sad. You're not only tearing fucking families apart, you're, to supposedly keep them together by seeing what
Right.
still tearing them apart because into this family member when and then you lose your, I have a dad, my dad and my son. I have no idea where my tutors are. And I have, I've lost my mom to death, dementia due to, the stress of this
Right.
on her because of this. And I blame this for her death completely because she was, it's just beyond nuts what they're doing to families, and they're allowed to get away with it. And it needs to be stopped one way or another. People need to get up off their ass and stand up for your family. You know what I mean? If your family ain't
That's
important
it.
to you, what the hell did you even have kids for? Why do you even, you know what I mean? Biggest friggin' unity is children and families. And I don't think the government should have anything to do with friggin' interfering with families, period.
I totally agree with that. And all these excuses that they use, why they're here and who they're doing the things and putting the sheriff and the police in it to hurt
They're
the
killing
families.
people.
It's bullshit. I mean, I don't mind saying it that way because I believe it.
Well, it is bullshit. It's
And,
obviously bullshit.
We've lost so many parents and families to suicide because they can't handle it. You know what I mean? That's friggin' ridiculous. I've lost so many of my friends on Facebook that I've been working with for the last 7 years because of it. And still to this day, you know what I mean? And I try to put out there to these parents, that do think about the suicide. You got to think about it this way. If you do that, you commit suicide. Okay. Think about what your child's thinking. Wow, mom and daddy weren't strong enough to deal with this, that they kill themselves. What am I supposed to do? I don't even have them to look forward to when I turn 18.
Right.
If they couldn't handle, how am I supposed to? And then, it's all these kids, some of them. And it's sad because it's just a routine. So again, you people that are out there thinking about the suicide, think about the whole situation.
yeah,
Think about how it will affect those that you love.
Yeah, and your kids are looking up to you, and you do something like that, they'd be like I was saying, they were wrong enough. How am I? And,
right. You're saying it right, Pam.
So,
Praise God.
Yep. Here.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here, Pam. And I appreciate you so much. That's it. I have
We
the
lost
same
her.
attitude you
I think
do.
her phone finally died because we just lost her.
Okay. Well, let me say this. This is good. A good intro here right now. Transition. Listen, people, I came back here to Illinois because this is my heritage. Okay. Pam Suleman and other folks in Florida, I've got to know because they see what I'm doing as far as my campaign for America. This campaign for America for me started in 2011 when I was busy with my very first book, America 2000 Foundations for Generations. You can see all of my books on Amazon.com or go to the AOAANC.org website.
And the link is in the
People, it
description,
is
folks.
time to get real. It is time to get educated. Stop being ignorant, stupid, and arrogant. Stop being ignorant. We have an ignorant society and dumbed down by our college, university, and government systems. We have people who are in institutions who shouldn't be there. We have people also who are their overlords who want them to be there. We have to be smart. We have to learn what is important. I've written a lot of different titles, not only from the economic and political structure, but also into the spiritual. I am a disciple of Jesus Christ.
We celebrated his birthday 2 days ago. There's a reason why God put him here on this earth. And we must learn of him. Why? Because we have a vested interest in our future life. Not only now, but then. And that's what it's about. And God created this world. I did not.
Oh, she's
Neither
back.
did you. But we are here. Not because we wanted to be, but because we have been put here instead. And I'm going to say this, we need to learn what our role is here. I've written a book about it called Don't Stop Believing, the Power of Prayer for You. And let me say this, you may not believe in God. You may be an atheist. But the bottom line will be this. If you go out of this world not knowing why you were created and what for, you are lost. And I believe that. And the reality, in order to find out more about what it is that you need to know, you must ask God for that answer.
Here,
And
here.
I believe he will lead you to his son, Jesus Christ. And I'm telling you, world, I'm telling you, audience, this is the reality of this. This is not science. This is the real world we live in. The grassroots of life. I have people who are dying every day around me. I ask, did they know their sins are forgiven and they're going to heaven? I pray that they do. But if you don't know that, you need to ask God what it is he wants you to do. And then do it. And I believe if you will, he will lead you to his son, Jesus Christ. That's what I believe. So, as it relates to
Amen.
this program today, Stephen, I think it was very nice, very good. And I think we are now addressing the major problems in America.
Yep, absolutely.
And
we are.
in
We need
many
to be.
respects, the world. Yes. And as I've said, the United Nations at this time, under the charter and the 1947 Charter of the United Nations, was created for a time such as this, where the world is in conflicts, and it's been known to be in conflicts, but the world is in greater conflicts because evil has been allowed to grow unsustainable. Therefore, we must fight for the right to be heard. And I have a book by that
The
title,
American,
Here, here.
and it is the despicables versus the deplorables versus the despicables. Pam, you have that book. That's important. The subtitle is Fighting for the Right to be Heard. And see, they not want us to be heard because, again, it comes back to power and control and the love of money. And that's where we are as a society. And we, the people, have to change it if we care enough about our children and generations to come and ourselves.
Absolutely, 100%.
Is there anything else you want to say, Pam?
No, just basically we need to, if it, we need to make a change. People need to stand up and start,
People need to rise up, stand up, start speaking out, calling shit out, and stop being afraid. The only reason they're able to do this is because they keep us in fear, folks. If you can eliminate that fear and not let it get to you, not let their fear mongering trigger you and get in that emotional reactive state, then you can overcome it. The only reason they have power over you is because you allow them to trigger you emotionally. When you can step outside of that, you can take your power back, folks. That's what we all need to do.
I mean, you're scared living in this world right now. You're having children. I mean, you're scared living in this world right now, having children. How in the hell do you think the world's going to be when your children are our age. We're scared as it is. What the fuck? I mean,
It's going to be worse than it is now if we let
to
this
do
keep
anything, and
going
it's gonna
on.
let the world get worse and worse and worse. And then you wonder, what? Stop having children if you're not going to stand up and have balls and do something. Stop polluting, or stop giving people. You know what I mean? Stop
Mhm.
making the world.
Yep. No,
or
if
stand up
I
and make a
agree with you
difference in the people
100%.
that you're bringing into this world, because all you're doing is bringing people in this world to be destroyed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if you can't, like, I see so many people, of the younger generation just having kids left and right, like it's just a casual thing. And I'm like, well, if you can't take care of your kid, if you're not in a place to be, if you can't be responsible and raise that kid, and like, it's not okay to just get pregnant because it's convenient for a relationship or whatever. That's not the right reason to do that. And I see a lot of that going on these days.
Then you want to sit back and bitch and whine and complain that things aren't being done right, and you're going to vote for the least of all evil. Then again, stand up and do something.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
make the world
Well, with
better
all
for
this,
the people that you're bringing, the children you're bringing into it, instead of sitting there whining, bitching, and
Right.
complaining.
One of the reasons I haven't had kids myself yet is because I wasn't willing to bring a child into this world without being able to financially and emotionally and mentally and spiritually take care of it and take care
I'm
of
scared
its
to bring a
needs.
kid into this world these days because of how the world
You know what
is.
I'm saying though? But it's like it's that kind of freaking discernment that most people need to start using, because it's just like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Our kids didn't ask to be brought into this effed up world.
Exactly.
So stand up for them and make it right for them instead of making it worse for them.
Absolutely, 100%.
Keep letting
I
these
totally
corrupted
agree.
people run our country. It ain't ever gonna get right.
Right. Absolutely. Shall
Well,
we
that's it. And
go ahead, Chad.
yes.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Well, I'm just going to say, you're saying, you both are saying it right. And this, this program here is good to get us motivated and begin the process of being educated in the information world that we need in order to know what is important. Remember this too, in many respects, we are mentors of our society. In other words,
We
we are
absolutely are.
mentoring people to know what they should do. Many of them don't know what to do. Therefore, it is our responsibility to help them know what to do. And if we can do this properly, then we will be the solutions for these big problems that this evil has thought very well about how to create and maintain on us, we the people. So this is all part of it. I want to say this is my legacy that I have invested myself in. I saw this many years ago when my own mother was put in a nursing home against her will and was destroyed by the system. And I recognized that there needed to be a change here, and I didn't see anybody doing it. Of course, and when the Clintons were in office, that's also when this began with me. And I told my mother at that time that we need a party that represents the family. And little by little, the information that needed to be here came to me, and praise God, it is here now and it's full blown. And this is my legacy, people. This is what I leave to you. And when I'm gone, you will have the opportunity to communicate the principles that God has established for us on this earth and for people to subscribe to in order not only to survive, but to thrive. And that's the key thing. And not only to operate selfishly, but operate in the best interests, the real best interests of each other and the family unit, because the family is God's creation. None of us created it, He did. And He has certain rules in order for it to survive and thrive. A lot of it has to do with the economics. Even in the day of Christ, they had farmers, they had goats, they had agriculture. Agriculture was definitely big. They did have coins. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we've got to affirm the good, the righteous, the decent in our society
Yep.
as well as provide the economic support and accountability under a constitutional republic that has gone amok and been ignored by the people who take an oath to preserve and protect it.
Yep.
That's
Absolutely.
bullshit.
It is total bullshit. Total bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
So we know what's going on here. We must communicate in this way and let the chips fall where they may. And as I said before, I believe God is in this, or I wouldn't be. And so I have every confidence that as we move forward in this campaign and in the making of the American Party of America, the American National Committee, it will be a model for the rest of the world to adopt the principles that we adopt for our own families and our own society. I would love to see in Asia, I'm talking the Muslim world, Iran and Iraq and Yemen and Saudi Arabia, all of these Muslim nations come to understand that in order for their kids to survive and thrive, they need to be building jobs that will provide the support for their families. Create a middle class. Don't rely on oil and gas for everybody. Get invested. You have the funds. Get invested in other industries that can provide a living wage for their society. And that's what needs to happen here. That's why I've written the Ball Doctrine, and I will promote it to the United Nations for the future of our children and generations to come. What say
All right.
you?
Here, I second that. Are we about ready to wrap it up? You guys, we got a good 58-minute show, and that was a good show today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for jumping on, Pam, and talking on these issues with us, and Dennis, you as well. And are we going to be doing one next week as well? Next Tuesday?
Assuming we have a guest, I'm looking for guests.
Sounds good.
I mean, I'll come on again. I don't care.
Yeah, we'd be happy to have you.
Okay,
Definitely.
well, all right, good. Well, just write it down, Pam. We'll get you in next week too.
Sounds good.
I want to do some different. Maybe we'll do like a interview thing. Maybe with Dennis, like get people this week, get people together that have questions and stuff regarding
That
what
would be a great
he
idea.
wants to do. Different
Yeah, I
things
like
and
that
whatnot.
idea. I like that idea.
That's good. We can do it.
Cool.
I've thought about that too. Sounds good. Like next Tuesday will be 2 days removed from the New Year's.
Yes.
So it's on Tuesday. So my Sunday is New Year's. So we'll be just like now. Okay, good.
Yep. Absolutely.
And if you want, we can do the pre on Monday because I don't know. We may be off again Monday, so whichever.
I'm gonna play our outro and then we'll end the live. We will
Sorry,
be back
I
next
forgot.
week, you guys. I'll think all three of us, so that's great. Cool. And I love the idea you had, Pam. That was brilliant. Like having people ask questions. I think that's a good way to go because it gets people interactive or engaged. Really good.
And sounds good.
To an old friend of Prince Omar and Al Long. Well, you met him, yes.
Were you saying something, Dennis? I seen you were moving your mouth. I didn't know if you had some last words. Unmute yourself real quick. Unmute yourself, Dennis, real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got to call Pam. That's what I was saying. I got to call her.
Alrighty, sounds good. Well, thank you everybody for joining. We will see you next Tuesday. And don't forget, we're going to be covering the Twitter Files episodes, or parts 9 and 10 that were released on New Year, Christmas Eve, and then yesterday, this evening. So be looking forward to that. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night. God bless.